There are various types of transactions that are handled in a bank account. For example, payments made to the creditors, payments received from debtors, cash deposited to the bank account, interest money charged by the bank on the account. The first two transactions can be in form of check payments or electronic bank transfers. The third transaction involves cash, and the interest charged by the bank is something that is automatically deducted and is reflected in the bank statement. Each of the transaction type mentioned have to be defined in the bank reconciliation module, and further mapped to all payment transactions in payables, receivables, and general ledger. By doing this, all transactions in other modules that affect the bank account will automatically display in the banking module. In Web Prol'IFIC, the process of reconciling the bank statement with the bank transactions recorded in the application is done using the option of Reconcile Bank Statement. Select and enter the ID of the bank that you have to reconcile. The GL account code of the selected bank ID is displayed. You will see the last reconciled date and amount for the selected bank account on the left top. Enter the amount that is reflected in the bank statement that you have received from the bank for the selected account. Enter the date up to which you have to reconcile the statement. Click on the search button. All transactions related to the selected bank, recorded in payables, receivables, and general ledger are displayed. Before moving on to reconciling, let us first know the information that is displayed in each of the columns. The first column is the date, which is the transaction date of the record. The next is number, which is the check number of the transaction. Clear date, this is the check cleared date. By default, the system stamps the reconciliation date as the clear date. However, it can be changed to the actual clear date, if you wish to. Reference number, this field needs to be updated by the user manually while reconciling those transactions, which are online bank transfers. This is the reference number generated and reflected in the bank statement for all online transactions. Transaction amount, the amount of the transaction. Reconcile amount, this amount is the transaction amount, but in the currency which the bank transacts. For example, the transaction amount is $100, but the bank currency is INR, which makes the reconcile amount as 6,800 INR. Amount as per bank statement. This column displays the transaction amount as per the exchange rate of the business date, only if it is a foreign exchange transaction. Gain/loss, the system compares the two columns, transaction amount and amount as per bank, and displays the FX gain or loss. Remove amount, this column is used in case of RTGS transactions, when the bank does not clear the amount and it has to be removed at the time of reconciliation. Therefore, the amount to be removed has to be entered. This amount will show as outstanding till it is not cleared by the bank. The field becomes editable only when the record is a RTGS transaction. Particulars, the particulars of the records as entered at the time of posting the same. Source, the originating source of the record. It can be AP, AR, or GL. Type, the corresponding type of transaction. Document number, the document or transaction number generated in the respective modules at the time of saving the record into the database. The interests charged by the bank on the account are reflected in the bank statement. As a part of the reconciliation process, these charges can be entered in this section of the screen. Enter the date of the bank charge. The transaction type for the charge. Type in the amount of the bank charge. Enter the corresponding GL account code and the particulars. To reconcile the transactions with the bank statement, tick the checkbox against each transaction. Change the clear date wherever required. Enter the reference number for the transaction where required. You will notice that the reconciled total gets updated as you tick the checkbox against each transaction. The screen also displays the total amount of bank charges that you have recorded. The closing amount displays the sum of reconciled total and the bank charges. When this closing amount becomes equal to the amount as per bank statement, click on the Save button to complete the reconciliation of the selected bank account.